President Trump preparing for his trip to the Middle East and doubling down on U.S. ceasefire agreements with the Houthis.
We'll see what happens, but I think, I believe that hopefully that's over with, and they'll leave the ships alone. We honor their commitment and their word. They gave us their word that they wouldn't be shooting ships anymore, and we honor that.
But experts fear this ceasefire could help the Iranian-backed terror group regroup. It comes as Fox News has obtained satellite images, look at it together, believed to be a secret Iran nuclear weapon site. It's codenamed Rainbow Site, that's been disguised as a chemical production company for 10 years. Here to discuss this and so much more, including Russia, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, first off, you believe the Houthis?
Well, I believe them that there's certainly, in the near term, are not going to do anything to interfere with shipping. And listen, the only reason, they're saying that is because the administration has been pounding them with over 800 airstrikes that have been consequential and has gradually attrited their capabilities to the point where they want to recover. I think that we haven't heard the last of the Houthis, and I think we have to prepare ourselves that they may just go right back to what they were doing once they're able to rearm and recover from the devastating attacks that the Trump administration administered them on. I'm sure the Trump team understands all of that, but look, we're going to take the deal, and hopefully shipping will get started. I think it'll take several weeks, Brian, before those ships start moving through there again, the way it was normally before. And the insurance companies, as of a couple of days ago, they're not putting their money on it yet. In other words, they can't get the insurance to be able to transit the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. So several weeks, I think, before it may return to some kind of normalcy. But a good step in the right direction. Eyes wide open here. The Houthis will recover, rearm, and likely reattack.
MEK exposed a nuclear plant that we didn't know existed. That's a dissident Iranian group. And now we see satellite images of another nuclear plant. How does that affect talks and any belief that maybe we're going to get some candor and transparency with the Ayatollahs group?
Yeah, I just think it's really a kind of a pregnant reminder here who these guys really are. 45 years in the regime, destabilized the region, trying to dominate and control it, fueling war with their proxies. And under the ruse of having a civil nuclear program, they have developed threshold nuclear weapons capability. And here's another evidence of their desire to do just that.
Right.
And you can't trust them. I mean, that should be the thing that we're dealing with. No matter how pleasant the negotiator is and no matter how reasonable that negotiator may seem, we fundamentally cannot trust these people.
I know.
They are deceptive and they will cheat. That's the reality of what we're facing here. The president is hard fast on we have to dismantle first. And he said it as late as this week. We come and you dismantle right in front of us. Now, what are we talking about in dismantling? Enriched uranium, the centrifuges that make that highly enriched uranium, to include, I believe, the manufacturing plant that does that.
Right.
And also the sites. These sites, these secret sites, have got to be destroyed. And the delivery ballistic missile systems that would deliver those nuclear weapons. That is what dismantling is all about. And obviously, they don't want any part of it, that being the Iranians.
Well,
and then the second thing is,
I just want to get in Russia real quick. Talk about the same way you described the Iranians, you could describe Vladimir Putin. We are demanding, and Trump put this out on Truth Social, a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. He had a good conversation with Zelensky again yesterday, at which time they said that they would do it, and they reaffirmed their rare earth deal. As we see some video of this parade yesterday with President Xi of China in attendance, along with the Brazilian president and a couple other nations, we're seeing drones being shown on display. We see some modern tanks on display. Do you think the Russians have any interest in a ceasefire, and do they understand that they're pushing us to the edge in these negotiations?
Well, I think what their ploy is, and it's kind of out of their playbook, Putin's been in power for 25 years and has done a lot of negotiations, and he's somewhat predictable. He shows that he's interested in a permanent deal and convinces Steve Witkoff of that and other negotiators, but then they play real hard with their negotiating team on the ground. And why are they doing that? Well, because they want concessions. You know, they know we want a deal. And because we're motivated to get to a deal, they keep pressing us so they can get concessions out of it. And their concessions are completely unreasonable. You mean, they want Zelensky out of power. They want the Constitution to change. They want to demilitarize Ukraine's military, and they want to get territory that they're not occupying. All of that is very tough, and that's what the ploy here is, to try to get those concessions, or some of them, before some kind of a peace agreement. Ukraine, on the other hand, has totally agreed to a comprehensive ceasefire. Stop in place the territory that's being occupied, separate the forces. They've agreed to all of that. And I think that's very reasonable on their part. The good news, too, this week, obviously, is the mineral deal that was signed and the political and economic and also security implications that generational deal has for Ukraine. But in terms of Putin and where you started from, he's playing hardball here, and I really think it's about time for the administration to take the gloves off and start dealing with him very toughly in terms of crippling sanctions and increased military assistance to Ukraine.
Even J.D. Vance said they're asking for too much. General Jack Keane, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And if they are going to definitely lose this as a fair broker in between if they don't do something quick. General Jack Keane, thanks so much. Go look at the Institute Study of War if you want the absolute latest that the General runs. Thanks, General. Have a great weekend.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.